Hi, how are you? I'm feeling exhausted on the spiritual soul level that was told to come of this time of the year and with the transitions of seasons in general. I I think I'm going to start leaving the titles of my readings blank until I can figure out what I'm coming with. I'm still standing on the fact that I don't really know how to show up to these readings anymore. Sorry, I need water. I don't really know how to show up to these readings anymore. Okay, then it's fine. Leave it there. Leave it there. It's fine. I'm not sure how to show up to these readings anymore, considering the energy and how I've said over and over, it's very the fool needing discernment, but I'm also feeling into like a developing layer of a kind of fear, specifically a fear of the future. And I'm feeling like a collective one, but it could possibly largely have to do with my location. I'm feeling into like a recognizing the devil, recognizing the shadows. I think we've been doing this layer by layer throughout the year, but there's something about this new layer that's uncovering about specifically our distrust of government officials, distrust of authority figures, of people who used to be in power, who we used to give a lot of power to, even on a micro level, and realizing how dangerous that was, the act of giving our powers over to these forces that we are now starting to take our power back from. That is in itself a very fearful, obviously painful, shocking process. Feels like that's happening to a lot of our psyches, and that's uncomfortable. And I feel like I again, still standing on the fact that any cards pulled for any reading, any reader ever, I feel like the whole lot of us right now, if we're really doing our job right, we'll be out of the job. People they won't need us. But this is all to say and to really emphasize, and I really feel I can't, I don't think I can emphasize enough how important it is to seek the truth and your solid structure of wisdom within that you have, that you've been working on, that you can trust will, do this the minute you feel like you're falling over. That's a lot about what I'm getting regarding these times that we're in. And specifically our desires, each of us, I'm feeling into how each of us have deep desires to just be safe and to be protected and to be nurtured. And I think on some level, there are some of us who, like at this point, want to be babied. And if that's you, then I want you to know that that's okay. The desire to be babied is totally okay. I'm also grappling internally with this, the sense of really wanting to be nurtured, wanting to be babied, very much the Empress, which I believe I pulled in the last reading for the weekly reading. Very much that, and then some accompanied shame with the fact that I still feel like I need that at my big age. And I'm thinking now about how if you keep an eye and you notice I believe you can find a very consistent pattern of adults who are able to admit that and having a very fresh, youthful face, a youthful aura, which I'm no longer thinking is a bad thing, is actually a very good thing. I think that's also something that's been like the Batman signal of the collective, is working on the inner child, working on the frequency of our truth and our aura, and how doing that is what keeps you looking young and connected to your inner light and your inner joy, which I also think everything I'm yapping about right now, I feel is a theme that we are collectively dealing with. Also randomly, and I think is something we're actually taking for granted right now, considering the popularity of astrology, I feel like we're really underestimating, still, even I, are underestimating the influence that these planets have, that the shifting astrological bodies have on us. And I think we are, that influence, and how that the influence is there at all, implies that these things, these planets and things that, rule us and can control our emotions and shit, they have their own life, right? They have their own energy, like source of nucleus that we surely can communicate with. I'm getting the invitation of that to personify things that you previously did not personify or give life to. I don't know what the word is. I know there's a word there's a word for the practice of turning something or giving something sentience. That I think I don't know on what plane this would be discussed, either factually or mythically, but I think only humans are able to do that because of their hold of consciousness. We're able to give life to things, even if a rock is just a rock, we're able to kind of give life to that rock, with that rock still being a rock. Something about our observation. Anyway, very important time right now for that, for acknowledging the power of our observation and our awareness. And then all of that what I just mentioned, and I've again been saying this, but I feel like this is going to be it's a very important part of our curriculum right now, is the need to take control of our awareness and master the ability to focus it on a thing, focus it on what we want, focus on the action we're doing. I have been trying to go out of my way to focus on presence more than anything, because I've realized, and I think I've mentioned this readings ago, but I have to keep coming back to this point where I realize that my wants are so changeable and so sometimes so based on such fickle things that a lot of the times what I want isn't even good for me. So I'm trying to focus on presence and openness so that I can invite whatever spirits that be, God, man, sister, whoever, to work through me and to bring my true desires, which is really just to be in alignment with my soul, higher self, with my inner peace, inner bliss. I've been feeling very called to that part of myself. And I feel very, very dependent. I feel so dependent on that relationship that if everything that I've been yapping about now, if everything that we've been discussing and all this esoteric shit, if it weren't true, then genuinely life would not feel like worth it for me, So I'm going all in with that. And I think that's also something that could possibly be a collective theme right now, is finding something that gives you life, or that gives weight to your life, and going all in into it and allowing yourself to escape into it, possibly be delusional about it. Whatever you will, whatever will, that whole line, find what you love and let it kill you. Let it kill you. Yeah. The dying process is what's happening, I believe, right now. We're all individually dying for something that we once thought we really, really wanted, or what we really, really want is changing form. Or you could be like me and Buddha, I guess. Although I must say this is unrealistic. The pursuit to not have any desires is very unrealistic, but it does hold a lot of peace, and I just want peace right now. So I imagined that I was going to come into this reading and just start shuffling. All of that came out in front of me. There's another idea that I was sitting on today that's been rotating, that I felt important to mention, but I've forgotten now. Yeah, it's completely left me. Okay. Oh, I tried to make a a whole chat about this, but I realized after watching back that it might not be necessary. Just as fellow light workers, channelers, and if you may be someone seeking out people like that to uplift you during these times and to anchor you into the future you want, please be aware of people who are, there's definitely a split in the frequency coming in right now. I would like to think that the healers and other shamanic practitioners who are really about their shit have the ability in their jumping between worlds to also jump between dualities, jump between them, but essentially get a bigger picture of the whole of the thing instead of only channeling one side, only love and only light. So I implore you to discern for who you seek upliftment and I guess truth from in your journey of truth seeking. And as I mentioned earlier, I highly suggest seeking those who are able to hold duality in its full form and not just the light and not just the dark, and also be extra wary of the people clickbaiting by only circling around the dark. Also be aware of how people speak about the dark. Yes, dark, evil, bad, etc., etc. But there's a way that you play about showing up in the neutrality of the oneness of divine consciousness. You can't just show up in a battlefield or show up at a political rally and say, namaste, we are all one. Like, you know what I mean? There's a way to use that energy. There's a way to be woke right now. That is all encompassing. That is respectful to, and I'm not trying to white lives matter this, that is respectful to the process of life. Not so much the love and light, all is divine one. There's a realness, there's a real raw frequency about the way people who are really about their shit, I believe, will hold themselves, will relay information, will seek to uplift people. You will be able to discern who the real ones are. And I'm throwing it in this reading to emphasize that it's discernment time for real. Be very careful about who you choose to follow, pedestalize, admire. I was going to say admirize. Be careful about all of that. Be careful about who you give your attention to, who you interact with. Obviously, beware of the scam fake accounts that try to bait you into the fact that they have a reading for you, or they have, like, be careful about all of that shit. Be careful about who you consult with. Sango Miraculi, the traditional healers, all of this whole, anything about this. Oh yes, and be careful about the deities and the gods and the beings and the planets that you pray to and work with. Don't go pray to Pluto and then be surprised when your life does a whole 180, you know? Anything about this world, the spiritual world, esoteric, between realms stuff. Even if you say you want to take a trip soon, a psychedelic trip, everything about whatever has to do with the soul, with the spirit and energy feels like electricity right now to me. It feels like a live wire that's just, you know, just in the stormy weather. You know what I mean? Imagine that kind of chaos. That's what it feels like. And for some reason, nothing's sparking or everything sparking at the same time. Either way, we're safe is the point. We're safe. I don't know which part of that image we are, the live wire or the electricity or the water falling. I don't know, but there's a lot going on. And as there's a lot going on, just please be careful with yourself. Be careful with your spirit, with your awareness, with your energy, your physical energy even, right? Everything about you is so valuable right now. Everybody wants a piece of that. and they'll do anything they can to get it. So watch out. Pray protection over yourself and your family, your loved ones, over your assets, over your home, over whatever it is that you feel is good for your heart and your growth. Pray over your growth, your journey. And pray over your wounds as well, as that's obviously something that's just out in the open right now for all of us. Pray that they be healed adequately so that you can, and I'm feeling into this in particular, our wounds are being tended to so that we can feel with our whole parts the glory of our dreams coming true. Yeah. Let's see what the cards have to say about the season that we're in. Although, again, I can't emphasize enough. I'm saying this again. I'm literally repeating this like a broken record, like a robot. There's nothing more important than your inner truth, your inner peace, your inner sense of groundedness, which is in you, which is you. Even if you think it's crazy, that's still you. And that you-ness is what's important. More than the fact that more than whether or not you're crazy or not, that you-ness is what matters. It's a very complicated relationship, exploring the self, the observer versus the observed. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so there are many cards that fell out, right? And they all fell out in reverse. And I don't feel I've done the action of holding them upright just to make sure. It feels like they should have been lifted upright. However, I think the fact that I picked them up in reverse the first time, it counts for something, but not for all of them. Let me sit with this. I think it's my reversal resistance, my reverse cards resistance that's... No, okay, they're supposed to be upright. The High Priestess fell out first. And it's interesting that this does so during a time when just before this reading, I felt called to just go through each of the major arcanas, the Fool's Journey. And something about the High Priestess stood out to me. So I'm reading about the tarot journey that she wrote, not specifically the interpretation. Scylla Conway writes the High Priestess as someone who can be seen as the young adult, conscious of the veil between the worlds and still able to move between the two at will. At this time, we become conscious of a complementary part of ourselves, the anima or animus, and the need to find our soul partner. And yeah, this is an annoying one, dealing with this. This is definitely where I'm at in contemplation. And I'm finding the truth of how this universe, how God or your whatever life you've given to the great spirit, benevolent force that looks after you, that with that being your true partner. And then that somehow also creating some kind of inner reflection through you, and that actually being your true partner. I'm still exploring the layers of all of that, and accepting the true fact that, or accepting the layers of the fact that you cannot it's it stops a way for you to be loved when you do not know how to love yourself. And then the rest of the cards that fell out, we've gotten the Empress again. Mind you, these were all in reverse. I'm taking them upright though, as I feel that that is what's actually most true. I tend to get it messed up because of my resistance to reverse cards. However, I'm pretty certain that these are supposed to be upright, but I will look at the reverse of the ones that stand out to me. We have the Empress again, the Seven of Swords, and I don't know if I've pulled this out personally or collectively, but I've received this many, many, many times. The Hermit, many, many, many times also. The Knight of Rods, wands, also many times. And the Five of Cups. Haven't received the card itself, but definitely the energy has been very consistent in terms of loss, grief, sadness. And then beneath the deck, we have the Queen of Rods, which is very High Priestess coded, in my opinion. So I'm going to start with, I'm interested to see what the Seven of Swords has to say in reverse. This card speaks of hidden dangers, feeling overwhelmed by circumstances, instability, lack of courage, resolve, and intent. And specifically, that last one is standing out to me. Lack of courage, resolve, and intent. I'm getting the frequency, I'm getting specifics now, so just bear with me or skip ahead if this doesn't resonate with you. I'm getting the vibe of just, I keep getting this repeat energy of someone not taking God seriously enough. You're not taking the nurture offered to you seriously enough. This keeps coming up in collective readings or to whoever it is that tunes in. It's also paired with their High Priestess. And I believe they come one after the other. Yeah, they do. So you've done the work already. You've done so much work on yourself, on your spirit, on your soul, on your relationship with God. And for some reason, you're discrediting that during this season of what is actually meant to be. I mean, this is what is happening right now. You're going through this season of inner contemplation, inner regroups, facing the grief again, being done with it, trying to stay hopeful in what is a very uncertain world, trying to romanticize, find the beauty in life, sticking to your daily routines, self-affirmations, meditations. You're doing the things that are keeping you afloat and allowing you to notice the beauty in the world. However, all of this stuff, this groggy stuff, the shadow work, isolation, the psychological upheavals, the worry, the depression, the mental anxieties, whatever, and specifically the processing of grief and of depression. You may be someone who struggles with depression or has struggled with it recently, fairly so because the world and the state of it's kind of crazy, right? So all of that, just life. You've been trying. But it feels like the trying never stops. It feels like I'm feeling into the potential of somebody who's very overwhelmed by that fact. And I've read this energy before. The overwhelm of how much grief life holds in general, how it doesn't seem like it's just, there'll always be something to cry about, something to have to heal from, etc. Something about that is feeling very taxing. I'm not getting the sense of any weight. The weight itself is heavy. I'm getting the sense that in dealing with the weight, it's getting overwhelming to keep needing to apply your spiritual work. It's getting overwhelming to keep going, to keep the rituals up. You're starting to feel very like, is this even working? You know, lack of intent, lack of resolve, a lack of hearing what your inner wisdom, what the love of your life, being your life itself, what it's saying to you. I strongly believe that with a lot of us potentially losing hope right now, or feeling exhausted or unstable or overwhelmed, or isolated or lonely or whatever. The main problem, and I've experienced this, is the detachment from all of this work that you know you have done. What always makes me feel better during this time specifically, especially this past few months since August, what's really kept me grounded is remembering that I'm holding this lantern. I've been here before. I know this. I know this terrain. It's not like it's never been dark for me. You know, I've been doing the work. We've been in this game. We know who we pray to. We know who protects us when we pray to them. For some of us, we see their faces, right? Ancestrally. We connected with these people. They crossed over. They're on the other side. They're protecting us. We know the names of the people who are protecting us. Why are we still, what else, what else is left in the work that we need to do other than to keep firm, strong resolve? Even as you're looking, because I'm taking it up, right? As you're looking at all the work that you've done so far, because this feels like where we try to be a lot of the time, but sometimes it gets like this because the weight gets too heavy and we get too tired, too lonely. Sometimes we just feel like, oh, I need a hug. I just need someone to hold me, I feel that a lot. And through dealing with this and trying to work through it, you have to understand that it's just as simple as you believing it. All that is left at this stage of the game of our work that we've done, all that is left, because we've already done so much, is to just believe it. Just believe it. Just be delusional. And at this point, you're not being delusional. Everything will turn out okay. Your life is a movie about you, a beautiful movie about you. You don't know nothing. You're literally just the star. All you have to do is play your role, then go back to the trailer and just sit pretty until your name's been called again. And your name will be called at the perfect time because you're the star of the show. You're the star of the show. Do you understand? Don't let any of the weight or the isolation or the lack of validation that you may be going through or feeling or healing from. You may come from a past of a lack of validation and you're still trying to deal with unpacking all of that about yourself, about why it is that you aren't able to provide yourself nurture and care, why you expect it externally. I'm going through that. Know that this was part of well, I don't like saying that, but it's true in our case. It was part of the character build-up. And there's a story building up. There's something gorgeous building up. But at this point, all you have to do is believe it. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. I'm probably reading for like an 8th house placement or a Scorpio. We have this problem very particularly. And I've recently realized that that's actually our biggest hurdle. That's all we have. That's literally all we have to do. Oh my God, all we have to do is believe. All we have to do is believe. That's all we have to do. So when you're feeling like this, or you're getting wrapped up in this, literally affirm in your brain, I'm loved. I'm exactly where I need to be. It sounds so cheesy even. When you're in this state, it's very cheesy to apply, but I swear to G, this is the time to do that cheesy stuff. This is the time to romanticize your life. Write letters to yourself. Look in the mirror. Be grateful for yourself while looking in your own eyes. Doing daily gratitude lists. Writing, expressing, getting creative with them. Connecting with your life. Get yourself, go on a walk, pick some flowers, place them in, and it doesn't have to be fancy, in like a repurposed jar or a glass, and put them in your room. Or put them at your altar and dedicate yourself to upkeeping that. Flowers may be very helpful for you as well. Flower essence or doodling flowers. I think that could be cute too. Doing flower doodles. And coloring in, using colors to decorate them. And journaling, but journaling and making your journal pretty. I don't do that. I just write. Scrapbooking, that's what it is, scrapbooking. It's a lovely experience in general. And yeah, just so this card in reverse speaks of like maternal tyranny, neglecting yourself of nurture, closing off to feelings of love, which I think can be very well paired with these two in the sense of just the darkness or bouts of depression that you may be processing. I hope you do also notice if you are someone who experiences that, because I've been experiencing that in stunning waves this year. But I've noticed that with each wave that comes, it's felt better. Like I've been able to quicker remember to apply love, and or I've been able to sooner feel a sense of love, even through all of this. Just opening myself up to it, and just literally just taking a breath, taking a deep breath. I've started also doing heart meditations lately, which have been so incredible, so experience changing, elevating. Sitting and meditating for about 10 minutes. I meditate for 15, and then for the last 10, I put my 10-ish minutes. I put my hands on my chest like this, and I get a sense of my heartbeat at in the center of my palm. And then as I breathe, I breathe with the sense of my heart beating, the sense of my heart space expanding, getting like subtle control over those kinds of shifts. It's very magical, if you don't know this already, to breathe into a space, as in to literally imagine as you inhale, the space that you are focusing on expanding with your inhale, just in imagining it. If you are a Pisces or 12th house, then you get what I'm saying. Or 8th house or Scorpio, water sign placements, I trust. I think that also there may be something about the water placement section of the collective. And I'm water dominant. Something about what we're going through right now is really intense. And I think it's the fact that we are generally so sensitive. So I think that we are the ones responsible for processing the waves of grief. Other signs, for their groundedness and their air signness, they're able to sort of like not all the way dodge, but just kind of skip over the deep, gunky, really cry, sobby, dark, isolatey parts of grief. And as they dodge it, it hits us, unfortunately. And we, given how we are built, the way that we have to cry all the way through. We cannot intellectualize it away. We cannot huff and puff it away. We have to cry. And I think we are being tasked with that right now. So if you're someone who's going through this vibe in particular, know that you're probably doing some collective healing shit. You're in your light worker bag right now. You're crying tears that other people are too scared to cry, or too busy to cry, too intellectual to cry, whatever. That's our gig, unfortunately. Unfortunately, because we're going to feel really, really good after. I think that we are moving through the transition into Libra season, so that by the time Libra season actually booms, we start feeling this, experiencing this, and practicing these kinds of things in real life, practicing a receiving of nurture and a giving of love. Libra season, we're all very excited for it as a community, as the esoteric tarot gals. We're very excited for the unions. I really hope you are still holding on to that, especially given the interpretation I read for this card, which I'd only decided today before this reading to do. So it's very, wonderful, telling that this card speaks of something I wasn't aware of before. This this priestess's desire to find her soul partner. I love that. I love that they're paired together like this. I love what we are in line to learn how to receive. I love the work that we've been doing to learn how to receive it. Thank you for all of the grief that you've been processing behind the scenes. I feel called to remind you that you are seen for that, even if no one knows about it, even if they're like buried, you're still doing the work. I love how tall you're standing through it all. I love the grace that you've gained through this period, because you definitely have gained some. You've changed. You've done brilliant inner work. Brilliant inner work. Again, that shit that some people are too afraid to face. They're too afraid to even know it's there. They'd rather pretend it doesn't exist. You're on your shit. You're going to get so blessed, so gifted for this period. Just tough it out and look sexy. That just came out. Yeah. Then we have the One of Swords and the Four of Swords beneath. Now is the time to face all of our wounds, and we are facing them, and we are doing amazingly. And we are changing. I don't know if I've been loud enough about this, although I definitely have. That was sarcastic. There is an interstellar, I've tweeted about it, a space object that is hurtling through space and is aimed at our, what did he call it? Our equator. It's aimed at the line, at the axis that our planets rotate around generally, It's like angled perfectly to make a conjunction, a beautiful conjunction when it does eventually come. And I have been I've been obsessed with this interstellar object, actually. And I've been getting the sense that, I've been getting the sense, and I've obviously seen through my research, that it is delivering information, just as light packets do from the sun and from a general space, how you can come in and feel a vibe. This interstellar object is giving us a vibe. And the vibe is essentially this, actually. I've tweeted about it too, and if you do research on it through Pam Gregory, she's spoken about it and mentioned how when she mentions this interstellar object to other people, they say that they feel this sense of the Empress, a huge, huge well of unconditional love. And I tweeted myself that when I looked at the image of that interstellar object, I think it's called 3I Atlas. When I looked at the image, I felt so good. I felt so good looking at that picture. I wanted to set it as my wallpaper, actually. I think I want to do that. It's beautiful to look at. It feels so good. So if ever you feel lost, I highly recommend you do research on that. Sit with the image of 3I Atlas. Know that we are so special. Not just to God, to some beings we don't even know exist. We don't even know how to speak to them. They love us. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Anyway, with this card, I'm immediately sensing or remembering that, at least, that we're receiving information, as I'd mentioned earlier in this reading, receiving and working with planets and interstellar objects, and they're giving us information, and I think now is the time to be as open and rested as possible. I think I suppose that could be the reason for some of our exhaustion. We are being slowed down so we can receive all of this wonderful information. There is lots of really beautiful, really beautiful feelings, okay? We're about to feel really lovely things for no reason at all. We could be sitting on the couch and suddenly be overcome with a deep feeling of love. Yeah, that's higher intelligence, source, God, whatever, whoever, right? Always with us. Always with us. All the time. It's time to trust that. I'm no longer hoping. I'm demanding it. I'm saying it's a currency. It needs to happen now. Now. Trusting God right now. Right now. Thank you as always for tuning in. I like I said, I will be coming, just as a heads up, I will be coming into these readings, I think, with a lot more. I'm feeling into like a beginner uncertainty where I'm feeling very amateurish in my being, in my presence, in what I'm doing here. But I do love it, and I will continue to show up. And I'm so grateful for everybody who shows up in return to tune into what I do. And I will see you in the next live stream.